Welcome, nature detectives. I'm Conrad Baker. I'm an outdoor educator with the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation at Letchworth State Park, and today I have a nature mystery for you. I'm here in a grassy part of the woods. The sun is shining in and out behind the clouds, warming up the ground and making life really fun for all the small animals that live here in the grassy woods. I had the pleasure of meeting one of those small animals today, and I have it inside the scientific jar of science. We can use our nature tools to figure out what kind of animal it is and how it helps us every single day. We'll use just one nature tool today, and that's our eyes. I'll show you what we're working with right here. Now, the first nature clue that a lot of people notice when they see these animals are the pattern on its body. Not even necessarily the colors, just the patterning of how they show up. For example, the head, even though it's very small and hidden towards the front of the body, is dark in color. Depending on the light, it might be brown or black. The middle of the body, which a scientist would call the thorax, is much lighter than the head. Depending on the light, could be green or tan or maybe even yellow looking. Moving further down towards the back of the body, that huge big piece, way by far the biggest piece of the animal's body, which a scientist would call the abdomen, is dark again. Depending on the light, maybe gray or brown or black. And on this individual, it has this lovely edge trim border effect of light color again. Really interesting. But generally, the pattern is dark, light, dark. Dark head, light thorax, dark abdomen. Very important nature clue. The second nature clue that I noticed about this animal when I saw it was that the abdomen, the hindmost part of its body, looks like it has a crack in it, like a huge split running right up the middle. But that's not even the real abdomen. Those are two shield-like, hard protective wings. They're attached to the body like a door on a hinge. They can swing forward and reveal two see-through, folded-up wings that help the animal to fly. This animal has two protective hard wings that protect its soft abdomen and see-through thin flying wings from damage from predators or even from sticks and rocks as it's climbing around in its natural environment. The third nature clue we can only see if we gently turn the animal over, upside down. So now the abdomen is no longer covered by those wings. The wings only cover the top part of the body. So now from the bottom, we see that there's a really interesting coloration to that abdomen. The end of the abdomen is much lighter in color than the rest. Let's put all our nature clues together. We have an animal with a very lightly colored tip to the abdomen. That abdomen is protected by hard shield-like wings that are like doors on a hinge. And the pattern on the animal's body is generally dark, light, dark. Dark head, light thorax, dark abdomen. This must be a firefly. Firefly. Now, maybe you've already seen fireflies in your neighborhood this time of year. This is the golden hour for fireflies, the best time of the year to see them, right now towards the end of June, towards the beginning of July. That light spot on the end of the abdomen is where the firefly lights up. Fireflies contain some really interesting, complex, complicated chemicals inside their bodies, inside their abdomens. And when they mix those chemicals together, it gives off a blink of light. They use those light signals to communicate with each other. They can tell each other where they are, and based on the patterning, they can tell each other what kind of firefly they are. There are many different kinds of fireflies out there, many different species, and they all have different blinking patterns. There are all different kinds of fireflies all around the world, and even here locally in Western New York and areas around Letchworth State Park, there are many different wonderful species. Fireflies are kind of like butterflies and moths in that they don't always look like this, the one that we see today. They are born out of a tiny little egg, and when they hatch, they are a caterpillar-like, worm-like larva. Scientists would call it a larva, but it's kind of like a caterpillar. And those little larvae, which some people might call glowworms, they're able to glow too. The ends of their bodies glow a little bit too. It's very mysterious. Scientists have all different kinds of theories and guesses as to why glowworms use those lights. But while they are roaming around, living in or around the soil, the dirt in the forest, they're eating all different kinds of animals. Larvae of fireflies are predatory. A predator is an animal that eats other animals as its food. When they're eating different kinds of animals, sometimes they happen to eat things that are harmful to human gardens and human farms. Things like slugs and snails, which when they get to be really, really numerous and overpopulated, they can harm some plants that humans like to eat, like fruits, like watermelons, apples, cherries, things like that. So firefly larvae, in that sense, are helping humans, protecting our food from damage from too many wild animals, very, very small, plant-eating, herbivorous animals. When they are adults, some fireflies eat nothing at all. Some of them eat pollen and nectar. In that sense, they are pollinators, helping those plants to spread their pollen around and make more of themselves. And some fireflies are really, really specialized, really, really good at eating other fireflies. There's one group of fireflies in particular that mimics the flashing pattern of smaller fireflies, and those smaller fireflies think that they're going to meet another of their own species and make babies with that other individual, but there's a bigger firefly there that catches and eats the small firefly. In that sense, the fireflies, the different species, are regulating and controlling their own populations. There could maybe be a problem if fireflies got to be overpopulated and there got to be too many of them. But this way, fireflies control that ebb and flow, increase and decrease, rising and falling of numbers of fireflies, a self-regulating system so that the fireflies don't get to be too numerous, overpopulated, and eat too much of their own food. And all fireflies would suffer from that. Thank you so much for joining me for today's Nature Mystery. If you have any questions about fireflies, please pop a comment in the comment section below the video. Share this video with your friends to put their nature detective skills to the test. And as always, like Letchworth State Park's Facebook page to stay tuned for more nature mysteries.